How's it going, my fellow Entropians? It's CloaknDaggerish here, and today I'm going to tell you my top 10 tips for Entropia Universe for 2019 and going into 2020. Stick around and find out right here, right now. So this top 10 list I'm about to go over with you, a lot of this information I've covered in some of my previous videos, but I thought it'd be nice to condense it down into a short list here as a quick reference. A lot of this information is going to be directed at newer players, but there are a few things that even the older players can benefit from as well. So let's get started with tip number 1. For tip number 1, I recommend if you are a new player or an old player, if you haven't already gotten a mentor and completed the mentorship, I highly recommend you do this as soon as possible. Sign up for it right now. Part of the reason is because it's based off of the skill points that you gain. And the higher you progress, the longer it takes you to acquire the skill points. So if you do it at a start right away at a lower level, you acquire the points a lot faster and you can get through it a lot sooner. And the items that you receive for completing the mentorship are more for newer players. You get a nice unlimited armor set that is very versatile for hunting. I actually still use my mentorship armor all the time. Actually, that's pretty much all I hunt in right now. I have the adjusted pixie armor, which is what you will receive if you finish your mentorship on Calypso. You also get, I believe, an unlimited vehicle. I think they've changed it a couple times, but it's the Explorer Mark 1, I believe is what it currently is. And it's not a bad little vehicle. It does have some value if you don't want it, if you already have a ship. You know, maybe you're not going to drive around a whole lot. You could turn around and sell it. Or, it's, fun to collect vehicles too. So you can totally do that. But yeah, if you haven't done the mentorship yet, get it done. You won't regret it. And even if you can't use the items, like I said, you can always turn around and sell them. They do have a decent markup on them, and they're worth a decent amount TT value as well. So get her done. Tip number 2 for you is to make sure you get most, if not all, the teleporters on the planet. This is important because it makes traveling a lot faster. You can get to your hunting spots, your mining spots a whole lot quicker. A lot of times mentors will take their new disciples on teleporter runs. Back in the day, this used to be a big thing where big groups of people would go out and make TP runs, but not so much anymore, just because of the way the game has changed. But still, they're good to have to get at least a lot of the main ones, like the ones to the big sweating areas, like Bora's and what's the other one? Club Royal. Twin Peaks is another big one. That's a big trade center that a lot of people trade goods at. So make sure you get your teleporters. Tip number 3 is directed definitely towards newer players, especially the free-to-play ones, and that is don't beg for ped. It's very annoying to have people follow you around asking for money, asking for items, asking for ammo. It's very frowned upon in the game, especially since it is a real cash economy. Having a good reputation is everything in this game because you got to interact, you got to trade with other people. And if you have a reputation as being somebody who's begging for ped, begging for items all the time, nobody's going to want to deal with you, and it's going to be hard to progress in the game. So just as a reminder to new players, and maybe even some of the old players, hopefully you're not begging, but yeah, just don't do it. Tip number 4, unlike tip number 3, the one thing that you should ask other players for is advice or help with the game. Entropia Universe is a very in-depth game and can be confusing, and sometimes how to do something isn't exactly clear. Rookie chat is a great place to ask questions. Even just shouting out in the local chat if you have a questions, 9 times out of 10 you will get a good solid answer. The community in Entropia Universe is very good. It's pretty rare that you'll run into a troll who's going to mess with you. Everybody's, for the most part, very friendly and very willing to help out new players. So don't feel embarrassed or shy that you don't know something, because chances are there are other people in the game who have the exact same questions as you, and maybe asking in the chat, you will answer those people's questions as well. So please go ahead and ask other people questions if you have questions, especially your mentor. That is probably one of their number 1 jobs part of their job is to answer your questions. They're there to teach you how to play the game. They're there to answer your questions. So be sure to ask them if you have them. Even if you think they're stupid, it's probably not. I mean, there are such thing as stupid questions, don't get me wrong. But as long as it's game related, go ahead and ask it. Even if you think it's dumb, you might be surprised. So tip number 4, ask questions, ask for help. Tip number 5 is to do your research. Entropia Universe is a very in-depth game with a real cash economy, so you want to give yourself every advantage you possibly can to avoid losing unnecessary ped and give yourself the best chance of actually making money in the game. How can you do research? Exactly what you're doing right now. Watching YouTube videos is a great way to learn about the game from the experience of other players. Also, there's Entropia Wiki with tons and tons of information on all the planets, all the mobs, all the items in the game. A lot of your questions can be answered there. I use it all the time. I highly recommend it. Tip number 6 is kind of an interesting one. It's don't be afraid to hunt and mine on land areas. Now, some of you are probably wondering, why is this a tip? Well, there are people out there who refuse to hunt and mine on land areas because of the tax. What I'm talking about is when you go to one of those green areas on the maps, such as Calypso or Arcadia, they're owned by a player, and you'll get a little message that'll tell you what mobs and what ores and end matters spawn there. And then at the bottom, it'll tell you the tax that you pay when you hunt and mine there. Well, some people feel that that's not fair, that they're being taxed and they don't want to hunt there. But in reality, MindArc taxes the land that aren't land areas. They're taking a tax from your loot everywhere else. And actually, what's kind of interesting, nobody knows the exact percentage that MindArc takes from their land taxes, but we can kind of guess and speculate. It's anywhere between 5 to 10%. It's probably right around 8% is what a lot of people have kind of guessed it to be, based off of their calculations and whatnot. Where the land area taxes, I don't think can be any higher than 5%, or at least I've never really seen them higher than 5%. So actually, you're almost better off hunting and mining on those player-owned land areas because you're actually saving yourself 3 to maybe 5%. I don't know. So yeah, go check them out. They're a lot of fun, and you're helping out another player. So awesome all around. Go do it. All right, where are we at? Like tip number 7? We'll go with that. So tip number 7 is a reminder to make sure that you're being eco, especially when you're hunting, and other things too, like sweating. You know, don't wear heavy armor when you're sweating. That's kind of just a waste of ped and makes it kind of pointless. But people do it anyways. I don't know why. But when you're hunting and mining, just make sure that you're using the appropriate items to get the job done as efficiently as possible so that you're not wasting ped. Again, if you got questions about being eco, you can ask questions in the rookie chat. You can look it up on Entropia Wiki, or ask your mentor. They can definitely help you out with that. But being eco is definitely something you want to do. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Tip number 8 is to make sure that you get your iron missions done. Make sure that you've gone to the terminal and you've collected them all, and you want to try to complete as many as you can before the end of the year. Once they're gone, they're gone. And there's a lot of useful skills that you can pick up in there. I specifically try to get all the ones done that involve evade. It's a very expensive skill to chip into, so I'm trying to get all the free evade skills that I can. If you're not sure which iron missions give you which skills, head over to Entropia Wiki and then pick that mob for that iron mission, and they have a breakdown of all the different skills at what tiers you will get those at. So if there's a certain mob that you're thinking about hunting, maybe head over there and see what the iron missions pay out, and then make sure you get those done if there's something in there that you really, really want. Tip number 9 is a pretty important one, and it is don't invest money that you can't afford to lose. This might apply to maybe the more seasoned players, people who have a little bit more invested into the game. But what I'm talking about is you don't want to put money into the game that you can't afford to lose. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody. The game is very stable, but there is always the possibility that sometime down the road, they might shut the servers off. They are, I believe, obligated to pay back the TT value of your items that you possess, but you still lose the markup value of stuff that you bought, stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, like I said, I don't want to scare anybody. The game is doing great right now, but it is always a possibility. So with that being said, don't go mortgage your house and put that money into the game. Just, a couple bucks a week or a couple dollars a month, whatever that fits in your budget that you can afford to lose. Just if you put the money in the game, just consider it gone. Just like you would pay for a subscription for any other game. You put it in the game and it's gone, but you get to play the game. And that's really how you should look at Entropia Universe, especially when you put the money in. The bright side is that if you're lucky, you might make some money and you can take some of that money back out. So just to remind everybody that, be careful with your money. And our final tip number 10, is remember to have fun. It's a video game. It's not a job. So many people come into this game and they're so focused on making money, trying to beat the system. Some people will disagree with me on this, but really the object of the game isn't so much to make money, but it's to play at your own budget. You can put as much or as little money into the game as you want, and you can have as much or as little enjoyment from it as you want. So, just remember, it's a video game. You should be having fun. And if you're not having fun, why are you playing? I actually got one more bonus tip for you, and that is subscribe to my channel. Okay, maybe it's not much of a tip, but it's a great way to get more information on Entropia Universe. I upload videos all the time. It's one of my favorite video games. I'm always going to be making content for it. So make sure that if you like Entropia Universe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Also, you can scroll down to the description below, and you can find a link to my Entropia video playlist for more Entropia Universe content. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated my video, give it a thumbs down. Either way, it's great with me. It lets me know what's going on. If you have any questions at all with Entropia Universe or anything that's going on with my channel, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I read all the comments. I do my best to respond with all the comments in a timely manner. And I really, really enjoy talking with you guys in the comments and getting to know you guys a little bit better. I've been having so much fun with the channel. So until next time, guys, you have a good one.